Hi everyone, it's Matthew and Dr. G in Technology, and today we're going to be talking about some command prompt commands as well as one PowerShell command. Just introduce you to PowerShell. And these are some of the commands I've used throughout my career off and on, just depending on need. There won't be a lot of them I'll be showing you, but the ones I will show you will ones that you'll utilize off and on throughout. I guarantee you that, and they're really powerful. So before we get too deep, certainly give us some comments down below. Tell us what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear. That way we can adjust our curriculum as well as our videos to what you like, what you don't like, and what you want to hear more of throughout your IT journey, because that's what we're here for, is to help you out. Also, give us a like and hit the subscribe button. That way you can be alerted to any new content videos we have to help you through your IT journey. And then lastly, also right down below, you'll also see a link to what we call the IT village, right? Because it takes a village in my book to really get a career in IT growing and sustained for as long as many of us have. And so we'll hope to see you over there in that group. Just ask to join and, we'll get you in. And over there in the group, that's where you'll meet others like yourselves, be alerted to job postings. In fact, I just posted one today. And ask whatever questions that you don't want to ask here in this forum. So off we go. So basically, really, I'm just going to be doing this throughout the whole video by sharing my screen. So let's get moving. So you should see my desktop here at the bottom here. You can search for CMD, which stands for command prompt, and what you should see is this come up right here, the command prompt application. And this is the basis of Windows, also known as DOS, right? This is really how Microsoft got started right here. The predecessor towards this was very much IBM. They kind of had their own operating system like this. And that's what you're looking at here. You're looking into the heart of Windows, if you will. So this comes to my C prompt right here, and there's some commands that are really vital that you should know. So one of which is pretty simple. It's one that just helps you understand what are all the files that I can open here on my machine and the file type. So sometimes you may be asked to open up an attachment and you're not sure what the attachment is or the program to use to open that attachment. So if you just type in ASSOC, short for like association, and hit enter, you'll see a laundry list of the various applications that can be supported. Assuming you have the right application downloaded, you should be able to open up the file. So you'll see, many here, as in, .ps, .pv, which would be like a Prezi video right there, right? Which you've seen many times here if you've been watching the videos. And then some common ones that you likely know, like .ppt, PowerPoint, and so forth. But just, that little command will instantly tell you, just all the various file types that exist and ones that you can possibly open on your device, right? So once it's done parsing through the list, it takes you right back here to the command prompt. One other command I like to use is just CLS, pretty much stands for clear screen. And it takes me right back to the top as though nothing happened. So now I'm starting all over again. The next command that you'll utilize, this one is a tried and true one. Everybody in technology pretty much knows this one, and that's ping, right? So ping pretty much is an application, if you will, for DOS that lets you go out and see if you can actually, if your PC can listen to other machines out there and vice versa, in terms of echoing commands to see if the other machines are listening, vice versa, if you can actually connect. So the name ping itself came from what was heard anytime a signal was sent from a submarine, and the signal that was sent back sounded like a ping. That's kind of partially where it got its name from. So kind of interesting tidbit. But ping, P-I-N-G, if you just type it itself, it gives you the command as well as some switches that you can use with ping. So we'll get into some of these in a little while, but really the thing to know is, how can I test to see if my own machine is listening, right? Well, to see if your own machine is listening, you would type in another command type called IPConfig, right? And I like to use a couple switches here, on and off, but IPconfig tells you in a really short period of time what your IP address is. So if you look right here, in fact, I'll clear screen and just start all over. And I'm introducing ping and IPconfig together for a reason. Let's just type IPconfig again. Right here, you see your IP address. In my case, mine is 192.168.1.15, right? This is my machine's unique identifier, very much like it's like our social security number, right? Every device on the internet has an IP address and is unique, just like we as humans are unique with our social security numbers. So think of this like our social security number, right? With IPconfig, there are some switches that you can use as well. So IPconfig/all will give me everything I'm seeing now, but will also give me a few more things that I didn't see before, such as my MAC address, right here, that is hard coded into the network interface card. The other things it'll show me are the gateway that I'm going through, the DHCP server, which is where I get my IP address from. My IP address is not static, so unlike us as humans that have a static social security number, every time your PC goes off and on, you turn it on and off. If you are connected to a DHCP server, you'll get a new IP address pretty much every time, right? And that's what that means. And a DNS server as well. This is kind of what equates binary or IP to a name of a website, for example. So 192.168.1.1 is the DNS server's IP address, and that's where I go through anytime I type in, for example, Amazon.com. It's really trying to find its IP address and not Amazon.com, right? Because PCs speak ones and zeros, binary language, right? So that's the difference between IPconfig and IPconfig/all. You get a whole lot more detail with IPconfig/all. Let's clear screen and just go with IPconfig for 1 second. And we see our IP address there, still the same, right? Because I haven't turned my machine on or off. But now let's ping our own device here. So we're going to type in ping 192.168.1.15. And what we should get back, because I know everything is functioning right now, my machine's on, I'm connected to the internet, is 4 replies. And there are the 4 replies, essentially saying that I am listening. In this case, I'm asking, well, am I listening to myself? Yes, here. Didn't do me a whole lot. But what if I try and ping Amazon like we talked about? But I don't know their IP address. How do I find out? Let's ping them. Ping Amazon.com. What happens? Amazon's listening. And there's their IP address. In this case, 54.239.28.85. If we reverse it and ping the IP address, now that we know what their IP address, and Amazon's pretty much the same, their IP address is going to change because they're likely on DHCP as well. 28.85. Yeah, ping that IP address. I should get pretty much the same exact 4 replies. And I do. And you can keep playing with this all day, right? If I want to ping Google, I don't know Google's IP address, but I can easily find it. There it is, a whole different set of octets, completely different IP address than Amazon's, than mine. And same thing, I can ping the IP address now, which is really what happens in the background. Anytime you go to your web browser and you type in Amazon.com, it's really doing this right here. It's actually translating the DNS server to the IP address, right? Its unique identifier, just like, again, our unique identifiers as well. So you can see here with these pings that it's listening. If I typed in a ping to an IP address and it wasn't working, I would get kind of an echo timeout. It would basically tell me that it's not listening, right? But so far I know everything's listening. So there's the practical uses for ping, right? It tells me is something listening out there, and I can find the IP addresses as well, even if I only know their domain names like Amazon.com. Let's clear screen. Now I did say that IPconfig does have a couple other switches. So all was one of them. The other is ipconfig release, ipconfig renew. I won't release here because I don't want this connection on the internet while I'm taping this to disconnect. But essentially, if I type in ipconfig/release, what it does is it releases my IP address, and now I'm no longer on the internet. I don't want to do that here for obvious purposes of this video. But that's what it does. And you say, well, why would I want to do that? Because there are times when I start typing in web addresses or doing things on the internet, and all of a sudden things aren't working and I can't figure out why. I'll try a couple pings and whatnot. Maybe it looks like it's working, or I might just get a straight timeout telling me, no, you're not connected. And so one way, rather than disconnecting from the internet, this is a different way to disconnect from the internet. And that's just type in IP release/release, and that releases it. But once it releases it, then I just have to come back and say ipconfig/renew, and I'll get a brand new refreshed IP address. May even be the same one that I had last time, just depends on how many people are on my network, how many people are logging in and off, that sort of thing. So ipconfig all, ipconfig release, ipconfig renew, those are paramount commands to know in DOS or command prompt, and ones that I have used in troubleshooting for a long time now. So those are kind of the really tried and true ones, and there are plenty more out there, such as Netstat. I'll do a question mark, which gives us network statistics. So if we go beyond just kind of computer statistics and what's going on out there on the network, we can type in Netstat, and you can see the various switches here, such as Netstat -n, for example. We see, well, what's n? N displays addresses of port numbers in numerical form, right? So this is going to tell me all the various ports that are listening out there on my device to be able to go out and read different kinds of network traffic, right? So I'm going to clear screen out of this. We're going to get completely out of DOS. Here's exit. And now we're out, right? Didn't even ever have to really touch the mouse at all. And now we're going to go switch gears over to PowerShell. It's another command prompt type of application, right? Just type in PowerShell. And you should see right here, Windows PowerShell, right? Click that. And PowerShell opens now. Looks just like the command prompt, right? And it pretty much is. PowerShell is its own scripting language. However, it's much more powerful than DOS. While DOS is very much an operating system that you saw a minute ago, PowerShell is very much its own scripting language. So those are the kind of the major two differences between the two. Why would I use one over the other? I'll give you an example. Just last week on the job, I learned that our company disconnected the command prompt, or disabled it, I should say, DOS being, meaning we can't bring up DOS the way I bring it up here on my personal computer. However, PowerShell as an application is available. So there's one major difference. And so all the things I had to do last week, I was able to do in PowerShell, even though I was wanting to do them over in the command prompt of DOS. But you have a lot of the same kind of features, but it's much more powerful here. The only one I'm going to introduce today is ipconfig/all. This command, as you saw a little while ago, gives us everything beyond just my IP address. The difference here is there is a space between ipconfig /all, whereas on the command prompt with DOS, it was all together, right? So I hit enter, I'll get pretty much the exact same look and feel as I saw with ipconfig/all over on the DOS prompt. And this just gives you another way to configure your system and or troubleshoot. And so those are the major reasons why you want to use command prompt or PowerShell. It's either A, to configure your device, such as stopping and starting services, or B, to troubleshoot, to kind of see what's listening, etc., including your own machine, right? So hopefully that was helpful for you. certainly leave us our comments. And there's certainly more videos to come out that'll get way more in depth with each of these. But for now, we think this is a great start to get you moving and just understanding what's, PowerShell, what's command prompt, etc. So also be sure to join the IT Village, like we mentioned, and we'll see you on the next video. As a reminder, click the like button, leave us your comments, let us know what you'd like to hear more of. Also, click the subscribe button and the bell button so that you're immediately alerted anytime a new video is published. Be sure to join our IT Village, which is the link to communicate with others within our YouTube channel over on our platform so that you can get answers to your questions. And lastly, in the upper right corner of our YouTube channel, click the free download of How Much Can I Make in IT?